Now for analysis, let's go to Barbara Slavin from the Stimson Center in Washington. She's a distinguished fellow who focuses on the Middle East and North Africa. We appreciate you joining us on the program today, Barbara. We are getting the sense, of course, that this attack is over from reports. What do you think that this particular attack could mean for the current state of affairs in the Middle East?
Well, it's obviously an escalation. It's obviously very worrisome because the Israelis now are going to retaliate. And that will once again put Iran in a position where it has to decide whether it has to respond. I think it shows how dangerous the last year has been, the fact that the international community has not been able to impose a ceasefire in Gaza is what has led to this escalation throughout the country and throughout the region. Hamas obviously miscalculated when it carried out its attacks of October 7th. Hezbollah miscalculated by jumping into the fray on October 8th. But there should have been a way to stop this fighting long ago. We have over 41,000 Palestinians dead in Gaza. We have over 1,000 Lebanese killed. And now we have missiles flying yet again from Iran to Israel.
How would you say this compares to the attack by Iran in April into Israel? It seemed at that time it was Iran escalating to de-escalate, which it says is doing the same thing now. But given the international community at the time, successfully said that things must be calmer, there must be diplomatic efforts. Does it feel like this time the gloves are off and it's less symbolic?
Well, fortunately, no one was killed. Apparently, perhaps one Palestinian in Jericho, but no one else. Israelis have bomb shelters. They were able to shelter and prevent any major casualties. Of course, the Israelis, with the United States' help, was able to intercept a lot of these missiles. But first of all, I hate that expression, escalate to de-escalate. I don't think it makes any sense, not logically and not morally. When you escalate, and this war has been going on far too long. Yes, it was a different sort of response by the Iranians after the killing of Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran, after the assassination of Hassan Nasrallah, and most of the rest of the leadership of Hezbollah. Iran chose to retaliate with ballistic missiles, which of course are much faster, did not give the warning that it had provided back in April when it sent many very slow-moving drones. So it was more provocative in that sense from Iran, which makes me terrified that the Israeli response will also be much more provocative, despite Jake Sullivan's words about this being an ineffectual attack.
In terms of provocation, though, just a few days ago, Netanyahu had a message for Iranians that Israel stood with them and that they'll be free sooner than they think. What do you take from this message? Is there a provocation there?
This is just another delusional reference to regime change in Iran. In fact, was looking back, talking to some folks. I teach a class on U.S.-Iran relations, and apparently back in 2001, there were individuals, neoconservatives in the United States, who said that Iran's regime was about to fall, and so there was no need for the United States to engage in diplomacy with Iran. We've been hearing this over and over. The Iranian government is extremely unpopular. Many people are unhappy with it, but that does not mean they would be delighted to see Israeli bombs falling on their country.
The actors, of course, if there was an all-out war, would be Israel, Iran, and potentially the US. The US doesn't want this war, and it has the power to stop it in its tracks. Why won't it?
Well, there's a little thing called an election, and I think one of the reasons the Biden administration has been rather hesitant about using the leverage that it has is because it doesn't want to do anything that would help Donald Trump win. Of course, Netanyahu would love Donald Trump to win, and so he is pressing his advantage every day, and it is extremely dangerous.
Now, of course, the big question is about diplomacy. Do you think that there is still an effort to potentially have a diplomatic solution, or is it too far gone now?
Well, maybe if Kamala Harris wins the election, decisively, then the Biden administration will finally get serious and tell Israel that it will stop providing ammunition for this dreadful war. Until then, no, I don't think there is going to be a diplomatic resolution. I don't think Israel wants it. And, you know, Iran will continue to respond, and Hezbollah will continue to respond, and Hamas, to the extent it still is viable, will continue to respond. So, no, I'm afraid I don't see an end to this. I would love to see a ceasefire in Gaza and in Lebanon, but I have my doubts that it will happen over the next few weeks.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Barbara Slavin, really appreciate your time.
Thank you.